All right. Looks like we're ready to go. Sounds okay. Sounds okay. Well, let me just. All right, good. Lesson 16, the golden rule. Do others as you would have done unto you, and vice versa. No man could possibly read the Law of Success philosophy even once without becoming thereby better prepared to succeed in any calling. There you go. So it's not just about the highest achievement. It's not just about being an entrepreneur, a sexy salesman, a successful salesperson, successful entrepreneur or startup, any call. So if you want to be a kindergarten teacher, an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a soprano, an author, book writer, actor, collector of turtles, whatever you want to do, right? This will help you. Finally, 16, with this lesson, we approach the apex, which is the top point, right, of the pyramid of this course on the Law of Success. This lesson is a guiding star that will enable you to use profitably and constructively the knowledge assembled in the preceding lessons. There is more power wrapped up in the preceding lessons of this course than most men could trust themselves with. True. You've heard that statement before. You know, knowledge is power, not trivial pursuit, not trivial knowledge, right? Knowledge that will enable you to do something. And I look at it from the perspective of at least my course, and my concern and my coaching is, what do most people do, think? What are they doing, thinking, being, saying? How are they existing? What are most people doing most of the time in most situations, right? And I said, well, one of the things that most people do, if not everyone, most, if not all, getting some education, right, to some degree. Many, millions and millions graduating from high school or some form thereof. And then some, maybe 30%, at least in the United States, roughly 30%, go off to college, get a 2-4-year degree, and then even a lesser percentage goes off and gets a master's or a PhD, right? So if everybody is getting educated all the time, and this is just for a core understanding of what you'll need for your profession in the workplace. And usually it's just knowledge. It's not about, there's knowledge, skills, and attitude, right? You can read a book on engineering, but you really only learn how to engineer by doing. You can read a book on surgery, right? But you only learn about surgery by doing. Same thing with being a baseball player, stand-up comic, engineer, marksman. You read a book on marksmanship, right? So you have to do something, right? So I said, what do most people do most of the time, most situations? They need to know about education. And also considering that we are now in a kind of a modular situation or environment because of the fact that technology, which really has come along since the advent of the internet in the mid-90s or so, has really upped the game, right? With everything being online now, more information, more access to information. Now you have artificial intelligence, and that's being used for a whole array of things. There's a source program out there that you can use for free that will look up if you're, taking a test or something, or studying at home for something. You can pose questions to it, and I think it's got probably like not a smart system, but a knowledge base that is based on a gathering of knowledge, not necessarily by experts, but maybe now it's just fished off the internet. I don't know exactly how it works, but they used to have these expert systems that they would feed into a knowledge base, and then it was a self-fulfilling prophecy or a self-fulfilling answering machine, I guess, not answering phones, but answering questions. And if you had a question, you could pose a question to it. And this expert system, based on a database of knowledge or experts or expertise, loaded into the system and continuously loaded into the system. Of course, now it's much easier to do with everything online and artificial intelligence. There's another program I saw. What was it? I think it's they have something to do in the realm of entertainment, graphic, video, entertainment, and they put together these fun, entertaining videos. There was one about who was it? Some famous actor. I can't remember his name right. But you know, they had him in there. Everybody's going, "Is that actually said actor?" You know, it wasn't, but probably, I don't know if it was some amalgamation or combination of AI and the actor himself. You know, but it's kind of interesting, well written, fun, and entertaining, right? But the next video I watched was the same company, and I can't remember for the life of me the name of the company, but they build videos, basically online videos for entertainment, but at a high end. It's not just, you know, somebody in there in the back room building videos by themselves very cheaply. You've seen this cheap production, but you know, there's certainly some quality to the production and the making of these videos. And one video had a alien or two in it, and it was built from AI. And all the person had to do, the creator, using the software, was just say, you know, build an alien, blue alien, certain height, whatever. Speak to it, I guess. Not even have to enter commands. And it would just build it. And the actor, had this alien image superimposed on his body. And they built a little fun, entertaining video from that. And the guy was mentioning how quickly it was done, how easily it was done, right? So with ease of use, and some are saying with AI and the increase in technology and technology's ability to replicate things or do things for us and do things for us quickly, with less and less human intervention or programming, right? That more AI will more and more take over people's jobs, you know. So I don't know how true that is. I'm not fully aware or cognizant of all that's going on in that field. I haven't really looked into it much, but something to look into. But anyways, I digress. So bottom line is, you know, the internet and online has really sped things up. So you need to be able to adapt more quickly. And things are done much more. One of the main reasons why technology is good for the economy is because it increases productivity. And as productivity is increased, the economy, or the GDP, gross domestic product, or money made over income made over losses, or expenses, I should say, minus expenses, has increased over the years. The amount of money that countries are making in the free market capitalism, if you will, you know, has really improved people's lives. Allegedly, and again, I don't know, I haven't read too much about this or delved into it too much, but again, something else to delve into. Allegedly, it has done pretty much eradicated extreme poverty. Poverty still exists, but allegedly extreme poverty has been relatively eliminated. Oddly enough, put more people in productive positions, or positions to be productive. So that's it. So anyways, I said, you know, what do most people need most of the time, most situations? Education. They need to know about their education. What exactly? Why are you taking biology? Why are you taking chemistry? Why are you taking history? Why are you taking English? Why are you taking home ec? Why are you taking shop? Why are you taking phys ed? Why are you taking whatever? Right? And sadly, I don't know. I don't know why. I do, but I don't. And I don't think most teachers or administrators or parents or even students really ask questions. They just assume, you know, this is what I'm being told by people older than me, wiser, more experienced. Maybe I respect them, maybe I don't. Because they're coming from a position of knowledge and power and experience. And, you know, in that situation, most younger people will just Not even think about it. I didn't think about it. You know, teacher says to do something, parent says to do something, coach says to do something. We pretty much just did it, right? Without question, without thought, without reflection, right? But as you get older, you know, you become 18, 19, 20, you're beginning to become an adult. So hopefully, you know, your dependency level is decreasing and your ability to think more independently is increasing. But there's a lot of matrices out there. You can get caught up in these matrices and get programmed and get brainwashed. Education matrices, political matrices, health matrices, entertainment matrices, economic matrices. There's all these matrices out there. And a matrix or a matrix being that which is perceived to be something, which it is not, such as the Matrix, the movie, right? They weren't really living those lives. They were living in virtual reality. They were living as programs imagined through these machines, or programs themselves, I guess, program machines. Programs on, or apps on a computer. And they were plugged into these computers. Their bodies were in stasis, being fed, you know, they're like in this fluid, right? And they're being fed and kept alive. The body is just sitting there, right? And I guess there's a certain amount of atrophy or decay of the body, but I guess the machines did certain things, keep that atrophy limited, right? So that the body wouldn't physically just rot away. That's what would happen if you stayed still or didn't do anything for too long. So maybe all the stuff that's plugged into them was giving them nutrients, maybe stimulating the muscles and whatever to keep everything in decent shape, right? Because remember when Neo got pulled out of the Matrix, he was not just a massive flab or rubbery muscle, right? He had some tone of muscle to him, so they were keeping him alive, keeping the muscle active, probably sending electric shock waves or something. I don't know what they were doing. I mean, it's fiction anyways. But anyways, you get all these apps, you get all these programs. You've got medical programs, you got philosophical programs, you got police programs, you got all kinds of programs. Then you get the real people in there who are plugged into the Matrix. And the machines are basically using these people, humans, as an energy source, because the humans had blocked the sun, which was the energy source for the machines. So the machine said, oh yeah, you want to do that? Okay. Well, we're going to use you. We're going to capture you. We're going to enslave you and use you as batteries to run our cities. So how do you feel about that? Huh? Smart humans with your sun blocking clouds, not going to fly, right? Anyways, so that's technology. There's some enhanced technology. Could we go in that direction? Well, we're getting closer and closer to that as the years go by, you know. I also think of Terminator, you know, and the machines taking over there as well, you know. Anyways, so what do most people need most of the time, most situations? That's what I'm giving. This is a part of it. You have to know about your education. You have to know something about achievement philosophies, which is this big face black car, this man thinketh, James Allen, and so forth, right? Those are important. And also knowing something about finance, knowing something about government, because who controls money? Money is critical. Being wealthy and have enough money for the here and now and to retirement and not to run out and have enough built up. Allegedly, a lot of people who are retiring don't have enough, don't have what they need. My dad was worried about running out of money, and he graduated from Brown University, went to RISD, prestigious engineering graduate school, worked 40 years at Pratt & Whitney building aircraft engines, right? And even with his pension and the money that he had saved up, he was still worried about running out of money, right? So very few people think about these things. So it's another thing that I make sure people know about, that they know about finance and they know about government and what the government does to take your money or mess with your money. You got Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. They're also the ones that cause inflation, such as the current inflation we're suffering with now. If you borrow trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, it's basically monetized debt. It's money. It's like loans. Like the government just takes out loans, right? They take out a loan, they don't ask us, and then they charge us for the loan through making us pay for taxes for those loans, for all the money that they spent, right? And they don't. But the reason why they're they don't ask us is because allegedly we told them it's okay, just do what you want to, because we elected you, right? They're elected representatives. That's what they are, right? They're allegedly, supposedly doing what we want them to do, but they don't. 90% of the time, they don't. Research has shown, politicians, why they always, promising certain things sounds great on paper. Or when they're running for office, then they get in office and they don't do 70, 80, 90% of what they say they're going to do. I saw a couple of presidents really do what they say they're going to do. Most don't care. They're just appealing to their donors. Why? Because most politicians aren't rich. They don't have enough money. I think last time Hillary Clinton ran for president, cost her $1 billion, or at least that's the amount of money she raised. I don't know. She probably didn't spend it all. Probably kept a little bit of that to herself. Politicians wouldn't do that. Amazing that politicians go into office broke and then they come out rich. Where'd you get that $100 million from? Surprise. Anyways, education you have to know about. You have to know about some achievement principles. You have to know about finance. You have to know about the money system. You have to know about the monetary system. Probably have to know something about the Federal Reserve. Probably have to know something about taxation. Taxation, trade, finance, borrowing. Where does money come from? What is money? How is it made, generated? What is the source of money that we use, to buy stuff and all that stuff? Anyways, I'll do that. I don't want to get too much into it, but I'll do that someday and get into the monetary end of the discussion, right? Then there's some other little tidbit things I throw into my program, and it's most people, you really can't say, do you care about money? Is money important to you? Having it to spend for the here and now, and also have enough money to see you through retirement years, right? If that's not important to you, then I don't know what you are. Rich, you were born rich, wealthy, of the 0.0001% who are lucky enough, right? Well, the 99.99 whatever percent struggle, right? So this is the stuff you need to know. Anyways, there's more power wrapped up in the preceding lessons of this course than most people could trust themselves with. Therefore, this lesson is a governor that will. Governor is like a control, like on a I remember these they call go-karts, have a governor, and the governor kind of controls the engine, speed of the engine, power of the engine. Right? That's what a governor does, right? There's a certain amount of control that governors have on things, right? If observed and applied, enable you to steer your ship of knowledge over the rocks and reefs of failure, they usually beset the pathway of all, keyword, all, who come suddenly into possession of power. More than 25 years, I have been observing the manner in which men, I guess it was men back then, behave themselves when in possession of power. It wasn't really till the 40s that women came into the workforce. This is 28, right? So it really was still a man's world. And then because of World War II, Rosie the River, more women came into the workforce than ever before and really, really changed things, right? Women coming into factories, coming into the military, not necessarily going to the field, sometimes into the field as nurses or physicians helping in that capacity, but also as secretaries, administrators, and whatever else, right? At that time. So that was the initial foray into the workplace for most women in the 40s. That's when it began, right? Things really began to change. And then 50s, 60s came along and so forth, right? And then here we are where we are. Observing the manner in which men behave themselves when in possession of power. True. I have been forced to the conclusion that the man who attains it in any other than by the slow step-by-step process, and this is true, is constantly in danger of destroying himself and all whom he influences, right? Too much power, too quickly, too young, at too underdeveloped a stage is opportunity for disaster. Because in order to wield power, what did the uncle say to Spider-Man's uncle say, right? Right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. No. It takes responsibility, right? A lot of power to handle a lot of power. You got to be responsible. It takes a responsible person, disciplined person. to handle power, right? And that's why you often see in fiction, especially fantasy, or like in the I don't know if it's science fiction, fantasy, but anyways, the cartoons, like DC and Marvel. You see the evil, those with the evil intent, who acquire great power, just become highly destructive, right? Because they're nothing other than about themselves. And when you get your Superman or your Spider-Mans, or the more responsible, good-hearted people get the power, then they're a little more disciplined, right? But most people are not like that, right? Most power, even the slightest bit of power given, goes to people's heads most times. It's very difficult to find somebody, especially a young person, to not abuse that power, or just be totally irresponsible and non-thinking in using that power. Anyways, it must have become obvious to you long before this that the entire course leads to the attainment of power of proportions, I'll be okay, which may be made to perform the seemingly impossible. Happily, it becomes apparent that this power can only be attained by the observance of many fundamental principles, of all which converge in this lesson, which is based upon a law that both equals and transcends in importance every other law outlined in the preceding lessons. So you can kind of see, as he makes points here and there along the way, that he is building, or he has built these lessons and put them in a particular order for a reason, right? And here it looks like, and when you're writing, you're usually going from least to most important, most to least important, or you're going by chronological sequence. Comfortable here. Chronological sequence, order of importance, that type of thing, sequence. So here he's probably, it looks like he's going most likely from least to most important. Likewise, it becomes apparent to the thoughtful student that this power can endure only by faithful observation, there you go, of the law upon which this lesson is based. So this is the discipline, right? Wherein lies the safety valve that protects the careless student from dangers of his or her own follies, and protects also those whom he might endanger if he tried to circumvent, go around the injunction laid down in this lesson, right? But warning. You don't know any of these words. I don't know if I can do that here, but usually I can't do it here. But on a lot of online sources, you can just click whatever you want to look up, a word or phrase or whatever. Click it, and then right click. Well, this is what from PCs. I don't know about Apple computers. Click it, right click it and search. To prank with the power that may be attained from the knowledge wrapped up in the preceding lesson of this course, without a full understanding, strict observation of the law laid down in this lesson, is the equivalent of pranking with a power which may destroy as well as create. So this is kind of something that Qing Chu talks about in Thick Face Block Card, which again is an ancient philosophy, Chinese philosophy, based in thick black theory, which really helps one achieve, mostly like this in the workplace, right, where most of our existence or serious existence occurs. When it's time with family or just hanging out, having fun with friends, I think most of us can handle that. But we're dealing with that. Don't need books, or maybe you do, but it's not as complicated or as difficult or as challenging or as, I don't want to say as important, but as of greatest, probably greatest merit, in the sense that that's where you use the majority of your skills, your strengths, your abilities, your knowledge, your intelligence, your attitudes, right? All that stuff, to earn a living, and earning a living supports your family, right? So it is probably the most important, in the sense that, yeah, you're earning money, but you're also supporting probably the most important thing, to be honest, which is your family, right? But since it does support, it is probably top priority, at least initially. I am speaking now not of that which I suspect to be true, but of that which I know to be true. Right? Now, when you know something to be true, do you say, I know, I think? Yeah, that's what it is, right? I think that's true. I know that's true. Or how about this? That's true. Because anytime you qualify something, I think that it sounds like, even if you don't, I think that's true. Even if you don't do that, you go, I think that's true. Still sounds like you're hedging or trying to qualify, right? Hedge your bet. I think I know that to be true. Or how about that's true? Anything that is succinct, to the point, right? Emphatic or has emphasis. And usually the shorter the statement. I think that's true. I know that to be true. That's true. Right? So when you say that's true, that really shows that you're fully convinced that it's true and that there's little to no doubt otherwise, right? The truth upon which this entire course, and this lesson in particular, is founded is no invention of mine. Okay? A lot of what he probably has here, what I talk about, is based on ideas or concepts or insights that have been around for a long time, right? Good ideas, great ideas are usually found by people. It's kind of like golden nuggets in the earth, right? They're laying all over the place, and people eventually bump up against them, right? It's just like when you're thinking or trying to achieve. People eventually bump up against these ideas that aren't necessarily true. I mean, I'm sorry, that are true, but are not necessarily new. Not necessarily new, right? And I think that's kind of like when people say, oh, I learned something new. Well, that's been around for a while. It's new to you, but it's been known for quite some time. I learned something that's well known. To be more accurate. Anyways, I digress. I lay no claim to expect that if having observed its unvarying application in everyday walks of life over a period of more than 25 years of struggle, and having appropriated as much of it as in the light of my human frailties and weaknesses I could make use of. Yes, there you go. 25 years of struggle. Now, I've been probably on my path of achievement where I knew I was really beginning to move out with some energy in an earnest manner, right? Earnest, energy, energized and focused, I guess you could say. That probably happened when I was late 20s, right? So you do something like that, 20, 30, 40 years, you have a certain level of experience, right? So that's kind of what he's talking about here. I lay no claim to it except that of having observed an unvarying application in the everyday walks of life over a period of time, over a period of more than 25 years of struggle, right? So unless you're absolutely unconscious or have a very forgetful memory, you acquire a certain level of knowledge based on experience. School of hard knocks, it's called. You know, I don't know if it's the school of hard knocks, but it's the school of life, and life is hard. You know, people act like school of hard knocks, that it's rare, it's a rare occurrence, or yeah, only certain people go through that. Everybody has difficulties, some more, some less, but everybody has difficulties, right? Without exception. Even the rich, even the strongest, even the most powerful or politically aligned, right? Stalin, great dictator with great power, lived his life as a dictator alone, died alone. That's not good, right? He was miserable, and his life was short-lived, right? Then he's talking about the soundness of this course. Yeah, I like this one. If you demand more substantial and authoritative evidence than my own, that I am privileged to refer to the teachings and philosophy of Christ, Plato, Socrates, Confucius, Emerson, and so forth, right? All these people. Munsterberg, James Allen? Who's James? I don't know. I don't know all these people, but most you probably know. Christ, Plato, Socrates, Confucius, right? From whose works I have appointed all that constitutes the more important fundamentals of this lesson, with the exception of that which I have gathered from my own limited experience, right? So that's it. Most of the greatest wisdom and knowledge and insight for anybody who's anybody comes from reading, right? Most of those who have been successful in business, politics, entertainment, so forth and so on, are usually great studiers, or have studied greatly. The works or the writings or philosophies or whatever, however they generated their knowledge, and studied, at the hands of the great. What is that book where there's book titles that use that phrase, built on the shoulders of giants, that type of golden rule. For more than 4,000 years, men have been preaching the golden rule as a suitable rule of conduct among men. But unfortunately, the world has accepted the letter while totally missing the spirit of this universal injunction. We have accepted the golden rule of philosophy merely as the sound rule of ethical conduct, but we have failed to understand the law upon which it is based. I have heard the golden rule quoted scores of times, but I do not recall having ever heard an explanation of the law upon which it is based. And not until recent years did I understand that law, from which I am led to believe that those who quoted it did not understand it. The golden rule means substantially to do unto others as you would wish them to do unto you if your positions were reversed. That's good. Do unto others as you would wish them to do unto you, as if the roles were reversed. It's a nice little added tidbit there, right? Really ties it down. But why? What is the real reason for this kind of consideration? Real reason is there's an eternal law through the operation which we reap that which we sow. When you select the rule of conduct by which you guide yourself in your transactions with others, you will be fair and just, very likely. Again, remember, I'm going back to, what type of person do you want to be? You want to be the type of person that your friends, family, co-workers, community, anyone you're exposed to, right, would look up to, appreciate, admire, want to be with, hang out with, spend more than just a few seconds with, right? Then it's up to you. I mean, you could be miserable and be miserable to people, but that's not really energizing. That's living weakly. That's working to a weakness. You want to work to strength, and strength lies in not only helping yourself, maximizing your own potential, but maximizing the potential of others. And that's what life's all about right there. That's the secret to life. Maximizing your own potential and then helping others to maximize their potential. And that's kind of the rejuvenating waters of life, right? Like Christ said, I am the water of life. That's kind of in there, right? I think what are the great commandments? See if I can remember. Love God, love your neighbor as you would love yourself. Oh, that sounds like the golden rule, right? Love God with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor in the same way. Sounds like the golden rule, right? So do you want to be a person or hang out with people or associate with people or know people or work with people who are liars and cheaters and fake, false people who don't commit, who don't follow through, who don't care, who don't think about you in the slightest bit, right? Unethical, immoral type of actions, thoughts, being, existence. Do you want that? Maybe you do, but it's not good for you. It's not going to empower you. It's not strength. You're not working to strength. You're not going to last long. You're not going to be happy. So I don't know what the point is, but some people do choose that, or maybe they can't resist choosing that, or maybe they're got some mental issues, but that's something else. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist. There it is. Whatsoever a human soweth, that shall he, I think is what it should be, right? Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap, right? It is your privilege to deal unjustly with others. There you go. But if you didn't I just say it? But if you understand the law upon which the golden rule is based, you must know that your injustice dealings will come home to roost. They'll come back on you, right? Goes around, comes around. So, and you see that, right? You see that in business, politics, the entertainment industry. People who are just nasty. They can be nasty. And some are nasty. And they might be able to maintain or not have that nastiness come back after some months or even some years or maybe even decades, but eventually, almost all the time, I don't want to say all the time, most of the time, it does come back on the person if they live long enough, right? If you fully understand the principles described in lesson 11 on accurate thought, it will be quite easy for you to understand the law upon which the golden rule is based. You cannot pervert or change the course of this law, but you can adapt yourself to its nature and thereby use it as an irresistible power that will carry you to heights of achievements which could not be attained without its aid. That's good. This law does not stop by merely flinging back upon you your acts of injustice and unkindness to others. It goes further than this, much further, and returns to you the results of every thought that you release. Now, is that true? This is kind of the law of the law of, what was the term? Look at there. The law of call and response. It's kind of something along that line, right? The energy that you send out is the energy that you receive back. The thoughts that you send out will be the thoughts that you receive or come back to you, right? Now, is it true that much further returns to you all right? Returns to you the results of every thought that you release. I don't know. I've never tracked it. I don't know if he tracked it. How accurate is that statement? Did he or anyone look at every thought that maybe a test sample of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 people? Did they track every thought? What are you thinking now? What are you thinking now? What are you thinking? Right? And then track all of those thoughts over a period of what? Year, 2, 5, 10, 20? To see if they all come back. You know, is that a known? Almost impossible to know that. So an absolute like that is a little over the top, a little hyperbolic, right? But for sure. But maybe not all, but a good amount. I would say not all thoughts, but attitude, right? The attitude that you send out, a consistently poor attitude over time, you know, that attitude will come back to you in droves. Will everything that you say and do, think, do, and feel come back to you in a one-to-one ratio? Probably not, right? Some of that stuff you can get away with, but overall it will come back, right? I have no doubt about that. Therefore, not alone is it advisable to do unto others as you wish them to do unto you, but to avail yourself fully of the benefits of this great universal law. You must think of others as you wish them to think of you. That's good, right? So it's do unto others. Well, do or think. I think both are good. I wouldn't exclude one for the other, right? Do unto others as you would have them. So if I'm like one of the things that I picked up recently, I forgot where I heard this, right, is that when I go to the store now, I turn the codes, the barcodes on the stuff that I buy, I make sure that they're all facing up. I flip them up. Not if I've got, 150 groceries. I've never really done, I don't do grocery shopping. But anytime I buy a handful of things, I might buy gas and maybe 3 or 4 things. I always turn the bars up, just to make their job easier. And I thought, well, it does help me too, right? And that seems to always be the case. Usually if you're helping others, you're helping yourself. It's reciprocal, right? And that's fine, right? I'm helping you, and it actually makes me feel good that I'm helping you because I'm helping you. It's kind of a cathartic thing, right? I feel good. Why am I feeling good about helping you? I'm taking some time and sacrifice to help you, but I'm feeling good. That's weird. Why does it work like that? Well, it does, but anyways, that's cool. I'll do it, right? Right? You ever give like a gift to somebody, like a kid or maybe your loved one or friends, and they light up and you're like, wow, that makes me feel, I'm not even getting the gift. And then you go, geez, I'd rather give gifts. I'm getting more out of giving gifts than receiving gifts, right? So that giving thing is pretty impressive. So think of others, give to others, right? Think of others as you would wish them to think of you. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, right? I don't kick my dog. I don't yell at my wife, generally. I really don't yell, I'm not yelling. Or do anything that is a negative, right? That I know would, if it came, if I'm sending it out, I'm going, yeah, I'm not going to do that. The bad thing, whatever it is, saying or doing or whatever. 95% of that. Yeah, I have my bad days and slip ups. Who doesn't? But as long as the majority of the time, you're saying and doing and thinking, feeling, acting. Once again, for inner projection, right? It's a practice art. All right, let's finish up. Understand this law, and you understand all the Bible has to unfold to you. So there it is. So it's kind of that Christ-like concept. But the Bible presents, and if you're not into religion, doesn't matter. Just look at it in a non-religious sense, right? But the Bible presents one unbroken chain of evidence in support of the fact that man is the maker of his own destiny. That's kind of the James Allen thing. As a man thinketh, right? And that's another book that we'll get into. It's only about 20 pages. But in each paragraph, the intensity and density and merits of what's said in just a paragraph or a short paragraph is amazing. Evidence in support of the fact that man is the maker of his own destiny and that his thoughts and acts are the tools with which he does the making. So that's a James Allen-ism, right? During ages of less enlightenment and tolerance than that of the present, some of the greatest thinkers the world has ever produced have paid with their lives for daring to uncover this universal law so that it might be understood by all. I think he's talking about Christ there, right? But Gandhi, also Martin Luther King, and they both followed Christ. In the light of the past history of the world, it is an encouraging bit of evidence in support of the fact that men are gradually throwing off the veil of ignorance and intolerance. Note that I stand in no danger of bodily harm for writing that which would have cost me my life a few centuries ago. Right. Every man takes care that his neighbor does not cheat him, but a day comes when he begins to care that he does not cheat his neighbor, then all goes well. He has changed his market cart into a chariot of the sun. Damn, that's nice. The power of prayer. I'm not gonna get into that, but I think this is a relatively some lengthy statement there. Golden rule. So it is the golden rule. So it is based in the Bible, not kind of, it is based in the Bible or the New Testament, right? The golden rule philosophy is based upon a law which no man can circumvent. This law is the same law that is described in Lesson 11, an accurate thought through the operation of which one's thoughts are transformed into reality, corresponding exactly to the nature of the thoughts, right? And we can do more. I'll just go right into the James Allen. We're done with this, and this kind of leads perfectly. It's a great introduction into James Allen on thought, as a man or as a person. These are old texts, so it's all about the men. Sorry, as a person thinketh, right? That type of thing. No idle person is ever safe, whether to be rich or poor, white or black, educated or illiterate. Booker T. Washington. Good stuff. I think that's it. So then he's got a code of ethics here. Oh, Yeah, you can read this. I will be this. I'll, kind of my 10 points. Reminds me of, what is it, that Alcoholics Anonymous? Don't they have something like this? The 12 steps, 10 steps. I forget. Then they list it all around. So I think that's it. A lot of stuff here you can go through. I'm not going to go through it all. We're at the end. So that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Keep listening to me. And my other videos will be coming along shortly, As a Man Thinketh. Also, Big Face Blackheart and other stuff. And I'm also going to start doing some more day-by-day stuff. What's going on in the workplace, what's going on philosophically, theologically, intellectually, psychologically, materially. I don't know, various things to talk about to help people move forward with more energy, power, focus, and merit. Talk to you soon.